We
So
love
now
a good
we're
skin moment.
glazed donut moment.
No, but
Look at how
it's,
tan I am.
it's
Oh my god.
glowing. I'm just white as fuck.
Lauren, go away.
Oh my god. What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kira and this is my lovely friend Humberly. And today we are going to be talking about polyamory. This is a Ask Queera episode, which is basically the video series I do where I get you to send me in questions on like a specific theme and I try my best to give you advice. Obviously I don't have any expertise in this topic, so that's why I brought Humberly on to share a little knowledge, spread a little wisdom and love.
So my name is Humberly Gonzalez. I was born and raised in Venezuela, so I also speak Spanish for all of my Latinos out there if you're watching. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días. And I'm a professional actor as well. My pronouns are she, her. I identify as queer. Fun fact, this is actually my first Pride being officially out. Oh yeah! I'm still on my journey, still discovering myself, but I can say with pride that I love who I am today, so.
I'm so proud of you. I love to hear that so much. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me in the questions, and if you want to participate in the next video like this, make sure you go follow me on Instagram. All of my social media handles and Humberly's are in the description below. My pronouns are they, she. I'm gender fluid and queer. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kira. Just to start off, do you want to just give like a definition of what polyamory means and what it means to you? Because a lot of people just genuinely have no idea what it means.
For sure. To me, honestly, polyamory means that I have the capacity and the desire to have emotional connections with more than one person. There's a huge sense of community and abundance of love and free love. And I love that concept because I feel like as people, we love to love on each other. At least I do. I love to have a lot of friends and I love to share with people, and I love that there's so many layers of intimacy in life, and it doesn't just have to be sexual. It can be just intimacy and whatever that means to you.
Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know. I feel like a lot of people just think it's sexual.
For sure. And I think at first I thought that too, but it's not, because some people are asexual, some people don't seek that from a partner, and some people really just want to connect. My journey through polyamory has been my journey to myself too, my self-worth, my self-love, because I don't have to compare myself to somebody else and what you offer. I can say, hey, I can acknowledge that I know what I can give you and my self-love and worth. You want to explore with somebody else who gives you something else, and I think that's beautiful. It's like, to me, it's like two best friends meeting for the first time and they love each other, and it's like, oh, yes. Of course I want my partner to be happy, and if someone else can give them that and we are transparent and open about it, like how beautiful is that? Trust me, it's not easy. I wasn't always just like, woo.
There's a lot of inner work, like we were just talking about, like you have to really work on your own like self-love kind of, you know, journey. Would you say you have to do that first before you get into a polyamorous relationship?
Honestly, no. There's no rule book. Nobody grows up in a household and they say, hey, you can have more than one partner and that's totally okay.
Yeah, literally
nobody. There's like no rules. So really you have to find your own rules and your own way of loving each other through boundaries and consent and a lot of communication. It can work out. And I know it's not for everyone, and that doesn't mean that this is the only way to love. When I talk about it, I'm not trying to preach it and like shove it down people's throat, like you should be sleeping with other people. No, I think it's more of there's an option.
Yeah, and then there should be an option.
Yeah, honestly, it's so much better than getting divorced or cheating or you know, having like being non-monogamous, but it's not ethical. So why not just
why don't we all just
talk about it? Can we just talk about the fact that like we like other people, we desire other people. It feels nice to be wanted. It feels good to connect. It doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be sexual, but like to have a connection with someone and you can tell that it's intimate in a different layer, to just acknowledge that and to be able to tell your partner like, hey, I have this connection with someone and it's adding these things to my life. Why not? Why not?
Let's talk about jealousy.
Oh.
How would you tackle jealousy if it were to come up in a relationship?
And it does come up. It still comes up for me. I'm not superhuman, even if it's so small. You know, with jealousy, because it's so personal, nobody else is actually doing that to you. It's your own fears and insecurities that come up, and then that little voice in your head creates a story, and it makes it mean something that's not really there. So the way to tackle it really is about being honest with yourself about, is this really a threat? And what is triggering triggering my feelings of unworthiness. Jealousy means that I don't have something, or something is being taken from me, or I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. Honestly, the way that I've tackled it is by naming it. You name the fear and it goes away. It's like turning the lights on a monster. And that can be really hard because you sometimes feel a lot of shame when you feel jealous, because you're like, I'm not this person, I don't want to be this like toxic possessive person. But it's not really our fault. We're conditioned to believe that like other people are a threat to your relationship, that other people are threats to yourself. So there's a lot of unlearning in this process. Yes, your partner can help you through jealousy, but you have to face yourself as well. Like,
it's like you can bring it up, but like they can't really do anything to...
They can't take it away from you, sadly, but they can reassure you and they can validate you, and they can kind of make that story you're making up in your head go away. As simple as, oh my gosh, you know, you were holding their hand and I had this like thing in my heart because you didn't hold my hand after that, and suddenly I made it up that like they prefer to touch them than me. Little things like that, that it can be just like a visual trigger, and then it makes you say something about yourself that I'm not worthy of being touched and I don't deserve love. All I would say is, hey, I know this is probably really silly, but I just need some reassurance that when you were caressing them, it wasn't because you were trying to hurt me, or it wasn't because you didn't want to caress me. It was literally because they were sitting next to you on the couch and I'm over here cooking. Like, when you rationalize it and you tell your partner and they go, oh my gosh, of course not, you get to kind of like consensually say, okay, that was silly, I love you, let's move on from it. And the most important thing is, even if it's happened before and you're jealous about the same thing, no matter how small it is, always voice it. It's only when you stop voicing it and then you start acting out and projecting and resenting your partner, that's when it kills you, because that's when your partner goes, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. And you're just trying to be okay with it as to not ruin things or put a stop on things or slow things down when you're feeling triggered. Always voice it. You can't like force people to look or not look or feel or not feel. I think we're here to try to let each other be who they are and communicate through it. Even if you're in a monogamous relationship, like you can't feel bad for like looking at someone and being like, wow, they are really attractive. And like, you know, I'm attracted to them. And then you have a conversation with them and you're feeling things and like, that's normal. It's normal. I was just telling Kira, like, just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you're dead inside. And you don't want to be dead inside, because that in turn means that your relationship will rot from the inside out and you'll start resenting each other, and then you just kind of conform. I love that. That's a great answer. This is gonna help so many people and I'm so excited.
How to start the conversation with your current partner? Like if you're thinking about you want to be polyamorous with your current like monogamous partner, like how would you bring that up? It's so interesting because even starting the conversation for some people, sometimes it's so triggering that it could be grounds for a breakup. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Because the first instinct is, oh, they're gonna think that I don't want them anymore. They're gonna think they're not enough. To bring something like that up with someone who is very traditional, for example, they want the house, the kids, the job, the marriage, everything. You have to approach it with love. Approach it from your perspective. First of all, don't be like, hey, have you ever thought about this? You know, like try to make them say it first, and then if they say no, then you go, oh yeah, no, me neither. You know, so it's like a game, it's a trap. First of all, be true to yourself. If this is something that you truly want for yourself and you're curious about, I would encourage you to do some research about what polyamory means, what the advantages are that it would give to your life, like why you want to have more than one partner. Because once you have the language and once you know why you want it for yourself, when you speak from your truth to your partner who loves you and you come from love, it'll probably be an easier conversation than like putting it on them. That's a good point. You know what I mean? That it's like, if you love me and you're open to me and you know that I love you and you trust me, I'm gonna tell you something that's a little scary for me to say. And that's what I would say. I'd be like, I've been having some feelings and I've been doing some research on a topic that maybe at first can seem a threat to you and dangerous, but I just want you to know that I love you and I love our relationship and I love being committed to you. But I would love to talk about what it would look like to open up our relationship. Even saying that, your partner probably gonna be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? You will probably have to reassure them a lot. You know, they have to wrap their head around it and it takes time. It's a conversation that never ends. Don't
give up just because the first reaction is a little harsh. If someone else instantly attacks you and it's like violent and really aggressive or whatever, then that's also something to talk about.
Yeah.
That it's like, do you want to be with someone who anytime that you bring something that's hard or something sensitive or vulnerable, if that's their reaction, that's not on you, that's on them. So that is also grounds to be able to talk about. The reality is that if someone loves you, they would want you to have whatever it is that's gonna make you happy.
Right.
In my case, I am dating a man and I came out to him, and that could have gone one or two ways, which it had in the past.
Oh, yeah.
It could either be about sex and be like, ooh, amazing, or, oh, you're just gay, I'm breaking up with you. But that didn't happen because my partner saw me and loves me. They just said thank you, and how can I support you through this journey of discovering this and exploring this, and how can I stay in your life? I mean, that's when I started healing. That was like the first step into like, whoa, nobody has ever given me so much love through something so tough. I'm not saying that the opposite of that doesn't mean that it's like they're instantly trash and they're like the worst person ever, because there's such a thing as like feeling threatened, and like if the person you love tells you something like that and you feel like you're gonna lose them, that's scary.
It's understandable. Like,
It's
a reaction
understandable.
like that is very understandable.
It is. Also, podcasts are great if you listen or read about polyamory together. If you approach it as like, hey, I don't want to do anything physical yet, but I'm really interested in this topic and like a different way of loving and how we can bring new energy into our relationship.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. Is being poly something that you're born with, or is it like a sexuality, or is it like a preference? You know how like with a sexuality, it's like, oh yeah, I'm pansexual. I was born pansexual. I've always had that in me kind of thing, but it hasn't come out until however many years later. So is it the same, do you think, with polyamory? Is it like sexuality in that way?
My instinct is to say yes. I feel like I knew from a very young age that I had the capacity to love more than one person, and it was very tied to my love for people. Being queer also, like it was like, oh, I'm being told that I can only date men, but I also really like women, so like how can I have both? Is that even a thing? And for so long I did place shame on myself. I felt like there was something wrong with me for not being satisfied with just one person, which is what I had been told was the right thing to do and the only way to love. But I do feel like it is an identity. Even if I was single, I would consider myself poly in the way that like I don't want to close myself off to different connections, different layers of connection. I can have a sexual relationship with someone, an emotional relationship with someone. I think with non-monogamy, it can also be a choice. After unlearning what society has taught us, it becomes a choice of, hey, I don't think that one person is my everything. I can have several loves of my life, and I love the idea of that.
I think monogamy is also a choice. Like that is a very big choice.
It is a big choice, for sure.
I think either way, it's a choice that you
get to make for yourself.
Yeah.
And you get to change it if you want to. You get to choose like, you know, being monogamous with this one person and then being poly with somebody else and going back to monogamy. I know people who've done that too, because it's about what you're capable of.
So someone asked, is it a good idea to meet your partner's other partners?
I think yes. So this term is called kitchen table polyamory, which is my preferred method of polyamory because I want to know who my partner is with. It's like meeting your best friend's friends, you know? Whoever you're connecting with, I think it's really important because it's a community, it's friendship. Doesn't mean you have to fuck them. Like, I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe you meet and then you have an opportunity. But like, the reality is that I think it's so beautiful to all be connected. It's like a little like polycule, you know? Like that's what we call it.
Oh, cute.
Even if I don't want to date who my partner is dating, I would still love to sit down and have a meal with them. Hence the term kitchen table polyamory. We can all have a meal. You two kids can go off and do whatever you want afterwards. It's the whole like, what are your intentions with my partner?
Yeah.
I want to know that my partner's being treated well too. But it's also not the only way. There's people who do don't ask, don't tell. Where, you know, they talk about being poly and they go off and they have their own relationships, but they don't necessarily want to know about them. And it's not for like anything bad. It's just, hey, I don't have the capacity to be a part of your relationship too. I'd rather focus on us or rather focus on like who I'm dating, and that's okay.
That's okay.
You communicate through it.
Yeah.
Communication.
Communication is key. I don't really know what this means, but I feel like you will know what this means.
Okay.
I have trauma-based bias towards the idea of a poly relationship. Can I ask for tips to get past that bias?
For sure. And I'm guessing the bias means you were in a polyamorous relationship that was actually quite toxic and there was no communication.
Oh, okay.
So then even the word poly triggers you because you were treated poorly.
That
you
makes
know,
sense.
some people use it in the bad way. Some people do use it to lie and cheat, and it's an excuse for bad behavior and for no accountability when you hurt someone because I'm just poly, you should be okay with it. You knew when you're getting into this that no, you can have respect and communication, boundaries, consent. You just have to make sure that you are asking for what you need, and if you're not getting what you need and there's no compromise or nothing, then that's just the wrong relationship for you. It has nothing to do with polyamory and everything to do with the person that you're trying to date.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened, because it can really shit the bed for any other poly person that comes along, because you instantly keep them at arm's length and you have walls up. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You have to believe that there's still good people out there. You have to kind of have a bit of blind faith that you give them the benefit of the doubt until they wrong you again, if that's the case. Just be sure that you're protecting your heart. I'm a person that tends to go into things quickly, and I fall in love quickly, and I crush really easily. So something that I've learned through this process is to take my time before I solidify in a relationship, before being intimate. How to heal from trauma is by voicing it, making sure that whoever you're getting involved with knows, hey, I have issues with trust or communication, or like, hey, this is how I was treated last time, and it's a huge boundary for me, and it's like a red flag for me if this happens, just because I'm gonna feel triggered and I'm probably gonna push you away.
Just letting you know beforehand.
Just letting you know beforehand. Yeah. Once your partner reassures you and you see the proof, you're gonna have to do the work to let it go and not hold yourself hostage to how someone else treated you. You have to practice surrendering to love, because with love comes hurt, and they're intertwined. Only when your relationship is tested is when you know that that's a true partner.
That's so true. Wow. That's, oh, come on.
Trust me, I always thought that it was just supposed to be easy and fun colors, and like if something bad happens, you run away, you find someone new. You never give people the chance to grow and to learn from how you hurt them or how they hurt you. And it's only when it's tested that's when you know, are we gonna fight through this? Are we gonna make it through? Or are we gonna give up?
And so many people just give up.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. I get it. Conflict is not easy. Confrontation is not easy, but it's so nice when you get to the other side and you're really seeing each other, and then suddenly you're like, shit, we can get through anything if we can get through this. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, this one's a paragraph.
I know, I'm like, let's just answer one of the paragraphs.
Okay.
Okay, so someone said, I'm bi and in an open relationship with a straight man. I'm always worried about telling women I'm dating that I'm with a man. Like, I'm scared to turn them off. But the thing is, I'm in love with this man and proud to be bi. Should I explain my situation in a one-night stand? Or should I just tell them that I'm a lesbian looking for a one-night stand, like a single lesbian?
I never tell anybody to lie about their situation, and you shouldn't. It's who you are. You know, I definitely went through that I felt like because I liked women and I was dating a man, I felt like I was an imposter. And so there may be some feelings in this question about that maybe there's a bit of shame that this person is holding on to themselves, because ultimately, who the fuck cares? You can date whoever you want, and if someone's gonna shame you for that, that's on them, not on you. I understand this concept just because I myself, I'm in this concept that it's like, I'm dating a man and nobody else knows when I'm dating anybody else because I'm not necessarily openly poly. This is my first conversation about polyamory, by the way.
First?
Yeah.
Wait, what about the podcast?
Oh, I never came out as poly there. It was just that I'm queer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never talked about this publicly, openly. I mean, a lot of my friends know, if not every friend.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm really trying to own. So this question is really important to me just because it's my literal life. And it's like, I want to date women. Do I tell them I'm in a partnership with a man? Hell yes, because I'm not trying. I'm so done with hiding and packaging it so pretty for someone to accept me that you have to like curate this version of yourself for somebody who you want to be intimate with. Like, no, I think we're at a point in the world where if you're not being completely transparent about what you want and who you want, then we're going like steps backwards.
Exactly.
You know, it's okay, and like acknowledge that maybe you have some feelings about it because you don't want to be rejected, because that girl you want to go on a date with might feel a certain way about that, but that's okay. If that's their boundary, you can't make that be a reflection of yourself. It is simply that they're not meant to be in your life. But you'd be surprised that again, if you lead from love and you go from your truth, a lot of people usually are cool with it. If you say, hey, I really, really like you, I'm bisexual and I'm open, I have a partner who's male, but I have the capacity to date you too, and it's not an experiment, it's not fake, I really like you, so if you're okay with that, I would love to keep seeing you, or whatever it is. And if that person's like, thank you for your honesty, that sounds dope, awesome. If they're like, hey, no, I have trauma, that's totally valid. Everybody has their own baggage and trauma, and you have to be soft with it. But don't make it mean something about yourself. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the person.
Great answer.
I try.
Let's end with this, because I feel like this is a good ending question.
Okay.
What are some resources non-poly folks can read/listen to learn/help overcome bias?
Ooh, bias. Podcasts are great. Definitely listen to Savage Love by Dan Savage. He's incredible. The way that he speaks, it feels like it's non-biased. I mean, he celebrates monogamy, he celebrates non-monogamy, he just celebrates who you are as a person, and at the center of it, it's respect and communication. No doubt that there's so much information out there. Literally, you Google polyamory and it'll come up. There are openly queer people that are online that are talking about this. There's a lot of TikTokers. There's one TikTok page called Decolonizing Love, and it talks about how this is a deep subject, but I really admire that they go deep into traditional relationships and monogamy in itself, how it's like colonialist mindset of where it came from, and marriage and things like that, and they're trying to really like decolonize love.
That's really interesting. I have to check that out.
Because really the concept of monogamy, it has a lot of religious backgrounds, of course.
Sure.
Marriage came from trading of goods. It was ownership. It was about benefiting the families. It was very traditional. It was male, women, and that comes from the Bible and religion. Because if you go a little bit further into history, art is depicted in beautiful bodies and orgies and nakedness and love and abundance of love and free love. And I think that can be deemed dangerous, because I think when people are free, they're powerful, and there's no way to have power over them.
Yeah, people can't control you that way.
They can't control you if you're free.
Yep.
By me living my life this way, I feel like I'm kind of breaking the norm, but without hurting anyone, because I don't want to be ashamed of who I love. And if you're curious about it, go with it from that mentality that it's just like, do you have the room to love somebody else?
Check it out, guys. Check it. Polyamory. Check it out.
I wish you could just like press a button and instantly it just
read all about it.
Read all about it.
Read all about it. Hot off the press.
As a creator and as an artist, I just want to be able to like start talking about it now, so that when I do make the work and I get to talk about it, I don't know, maybe people will see it and be inspired. And
absolutely,
you know? Yeah,
no, it takes a lot of courage to even come on here and talk about this to my lovely friends. Thank you so much for coming on here. Like, I feel like you just gave such a refreshing perspective, and I don't know much about it myself, so like I learned so much. You guys are learning so much right now, and you just have so much like wonderful words to speak and spread, and I'm so glad you came here and did this.
Me too.
Yay! If you want to follow Humberly, all the links are in the description, and that's about it for today. All right, love you guys.